Hello and welcome to the Ice Guys. This is the show that takes you into the world of the National Hockey League. Every game, every day, from a betting perspective. With pro sports handicappers, Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith, and various guests from the world of hockey and sports betting. And now, here's your host, Ian Cameron.
Welcome to the Ice Guys, Saturday, January the 10th. Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith with you on this big, massive Saturday slate, ready to break it all down. And it is massive. We've got a huge card coming up here for you on this Saturday. 14 games on tap, all but 28 of 32 NHL teams in action here on this Saturday. Excited about breaking it down here. And like I said, we'll get right into it in a second. We'll just briefly rip through the mini three-game slate that we saw last night. I'm here to tell you that sometimes unforeseen circumstances will occur, when you're involved in sports betting on a daily basis. And I know there's some people a little bit, upset with the fact that we were kind of like in Chicago last night and it didn't go well. Well, it didn't go well because all of a sudden we got a word right before puck drop that all of a sudden you see them take the ice for the pregame skate, and there's no Mikheyev, there's no Crevier, there's no Spencer Knight. It's Drew Commesso. Called up from the minors, leading the team on the ice, who got the start in net as well for Chicago. And a flu bug and a stomach virus just blasted right through the Blackhawks team late yesterday afternoon in the hours leading up to puck drop, and nobody knew about it. Jeff Blashill didn't say anything earlier in the day about it, so it was just all of a sudden we found out right before puck drop that this stomach virus, this flu bug, is just really zapped a lot of the Blackhawk players, and multiple players missing. And unfortunately, they, kind of looked like it on the ice. I thought they still gave a pretty, good effort given the circumstances, but too much to overcome. They lose 5-1 last night to Washington. The good news is we did hit the over. We did like the over in that game, but sometimes that's going to happen. You make a bet and then all of a sudden, oh, this guy's out, this guy's out, this guy's out. Whoa, it's hard to understand how you can pivot from that. But like I said, interesting circumstances too. Now, the one thing we'll say is with Nashville, Chicago, when we break that game down later in the show, we'll try to give you as much as we can as far as the most up-to-date information is concerned. But my advice to me right there, it would be just lay off betting that game until you know who's exactly in the lineup for the Chicago Blackhawks tonight. But yeah, unfortunate circumstances there. And Washington gets redemption. Obviously, they lost to Chicago last weekend. The Winnipeg Jets, let's give them some credit. They're off the schneid. And credit to Jonathan Davis. A couple people in our group chat that said this might be the night for the Jets to finally get off the schneid, and they were right. And this is another one where I had the over best bet winner. Kings Jets over 5.5, mostly thanks to Winnipeg getting the 5 goals necessary, 5-1 win. I will say this, at 3-1, I did grab a little small LA bet live in-game thinking, once it was 3-0, LA scored to make it 3-1. Here we go again. Jets going to blow another game, collapse again, choke away another lead. But the fact they scored like a couple minutes later to just everybody exhale, take a deep breath, we're good, we're okay, and to get that back to 4-1 right after LA made it 3-1, I think that was a huge moment in the game for the Winnipeg Jets, and it certainly steadied the ship, and they get a 5-1 win, much needed to snap the losing streak. But again, they buried themselves a big hole, and now they still got a lot of work to do, Winnipeg, even though they did get the win last night. And then, of course, we saw Utah and St. Louis involved in a very entertaining game, and the Utah Mammoth get the job done against the St. Louis Blues. Not one of the better games from Joel Hofer last night, but Utah victorious in that game against St. Louis 4-2. All 3 games, by the way, last night, the totals were 5.5, and all 3 ended up going over the total. So we're still in this groove right now in the NHL where since January 1st, since the new year began, way more overs than unders in this league so far to begin the new year. Eventually that's going to reverse itself at least a little bit, but right now it continues to be an overpalooza in the NHL. And yes, Lawson Krause cashes at plus 320 for a bargain bin special for me last night. Alex, I know your focus in the recap, I'm sure, will be the situation involving your Chicago Blackhawks last night. But yeah, just crazy developments there. Just this vicious stomach virus ripping through the hockey team.
Yeah, you're going to have these throughout the course of usually in a basketball or hockey season, right? That's usually when you see teams have the flu, and you'll see it bounce around from team to team. Teams give it to other teams. It's just that's just the nature of the beast when you're talking about groups of guys who hang out with each other and travel with each other every single day. And when we came on the air, we mentioned about how Nick Foligno wasn't at practice, Mikheyev wasn't at practice. Find out later as we get off the air that it was Mike Bellucci running the whole practice itself, that Blashill wasn't feeling well enough either. And then all of a sudden you have things flip around where Crevier is now out. Spencer Knight, who practiced fully, ends up getting sick. Nick Foligno, who was out, as I mentioned, he ended up playing in the game. So you have these constant fluid movements where you don't know what's going to happen. And when you make bets now, like I said, some of us have those cash out options. I couldn't cash out all the bets that I made on Chicago yesterday. And a couple of them I still liked. I was heavier on the team total over. Thought that, okay, this game could be an absolute, boat race, especially when you have Drew Commesso, a guy who was expecting to be sitting on the bench for a Rockford, Wolves game, and then a Rockford versus Wolves game, and then all of a sudden now he has to start and drive into Chicago. This has felt like it could have been a track meet, but like I said, the Hawks didn't have their legs, and we don't know what other guys are, still kind of feeling the bug, but playing, are well enough to play. There may be guys who are playing sick throughout this thing, especially on the second night of a back-to-back. So, like I said, tread very lightly if you tread at all as far as Hawks, Nashville goes tonight. But like I said, those things are going to happen, and there's not much you can do about it. Once you've placed the bet, chances are you just have to kind of roll the dice with that, and it sucks to get burned on that end. Sometimes you get lucky and win on an end like that, but that's just the way the cookie crumbles. I got some messages that were a little unsavory about that. Nothing I could do about guys getting sick. But yeah, great hit by you with Lawson Krause and the Utah game. That's a big win for Utah. As we talk about this log jam within the Western wild card, you got the Hawks losing, you got LA losing. So for Utah to get that win against a St. Louis team that's also kind of still in that mix, even though they're toward the bottom, that's a big win for them at home. And that's a game that we talk about how teams win games in a year where they may not win it the previous year. That's a game that Utah probably loses in overtime or shootout last year. They've taken a step forward to where they win a tough game against a mediocre team at home. We saw them lose a few of those games last year. So that's a big win for Utah. And like I said, huge win for the Jets to get off the slide. Of course, you're going to do it against LA because LA is just about as bad as Winnipeg from a form standpoint. Not records, not current records, but the Kings are an absolute mess. And the messages keep on coming on Twitter. Jim Hiller's got to go. Jim Hiller's got to go. It's just a matter of when, but it keeps, like I said, keep prolonging it. Wouldn't shock me one bit if LA goes on and wins tonight, because yesterday looked like a spot where this should be let's cut the switch off with Jim Hiller, and then all of a sudden now they'll come back and get a 3-1 win, and then the brass will go, well, he bounced back off of a loss and got a nice win, and it'll probably be a sloppy game that they end up winning, and then they keep him for another 2 weeks. And then next thing you know, they end up losing 4 out of 5 after that. So it's a disaster with LA, but a good win for Winnipeg. And like you said, they still got a ton of work to do to try to get themselves back into the race.
No question. It was a big win. Every win in the West, especially for where Utah's at in the standings right now, is significant as they try to keep themselves afloat. And like I said, still lots of season left. So anytime at this stage, and especially with the condensed schedule, like the games are going to come. They've been fast and furious for every team anyway, but especially now in the lead up to the Olympic break, tons of games in a short period of time. Anytime you can get 2 points on the board and a victory, it's very, very important as far as your playoff chances are concerned. All right, we've got a huge slate, so we are going to get right into it right now. The first of 14 games. We have ourselves 4 matinee games this afternoon, 4 afternoon games, starting with this one. This is your Saturday ABC Hockey Saturday game is taking place. I think they expected Rangers Bruins to be a little bit more glamorous when they first put this on the schedule at the beginning of the year, but nevertheless, this is on ABC, 1 p.m. Eastern, with Mike Monaco, good young guy, broadcaster, calling it with Ray Ferraro today. We've got Boston minus 130, home favorites, 6 the total here in this game, Rangers and Bruins. This is one where, the first couple games I'm very, I either don't have a bet or it's a very small opinion or a small bet. This game, I don't have anything at the moment. Boston's coming off a nice 4-1 win. I give them credit for beating Calgary. I know Calgary's bad on the road. They can't score on the road. But, that was off a 5-game road trip. Most of those games out west, That's never an easy spot. So let's give the Bruins a little credit for taking care of business in that situation against Calgary. We'll see if they can follow it up here. They've played good at home. Now we got the Rangers now on the road, where that seems to be the place where they get wins these days. They continue to be just awful at Madison Square Garden, but at least here on the road, they have been a little bit better. They did beat Florida 5-1 in their last road game. It is worth noting, though, they had dropped 4 of 5 road games before that, losing to Washington, Carolina, the New York Islanders, and even Nashville, losing that game on the road. So they haven't been as good on the road lately, as they were early in the season. So I kind of lean Bruins here. They're used to these early start situations. Jeremy Swayman, it's worth noting, this is his first start, I believe, since that ugly performance he had against Seattle, where he got pulled in that game, I believe, as well. And it was just a terrible night for him in between the pipe. Actually, no, he was in for the whole game. Marco Sturm decided, you're staying in there for the whole game at the end of this road trip, and he gave up 6 goals to Seattle in what was a 7-4 loss to the Kraken. So this is his first time being in net since then. I would think he's going to want a bounce-back start performance here, and it wouldn't shock me if he gets it. We expect Jonathan Quick, obviously, in net for the Rangers with Igor Shesterkin still out, Adam Fox still on IR. Noah Laba might not play. He's a game-time decision as well. So for this one, I lean Bruins, but like I said, not involved in this game. This could be an under as well. I lean with Aaron in that direction as well. But no bet is at the moment for Rangers Bruins. Couple props, though, that I do like we'll mention in a minute. Alex, what do you think here, Rangers Bruins?
This is one where I grabbed the draw, and I got it right on the nose at plus 300. I've seen that price best available now at Caesars. You can also find it at Bet Online, but anything plus 300, plus 305. I could see this one being, like I said, both teams are very familiar with playing each other in the daytime, playing day games in general. And I can see where this may be a slow pace and then kind of creeps up later, but I could find this way into overtime. Both teams desperately need the points to just kind of keep afloat. So this is one where I'll take a shot with the draw here. That's all I have. Like I said, nothing on the side, nothing totals-wise.
Yeah, 3 goal props, actually. Vinny Trocheck, 2 games in a row with a goal for the Rangers, starting to heat up. There's no rhyme or reason to this, but he has scored now in back-to-back games on the blue line for Boston. The low rider. He's a low rider. Mason Lowry for the Boston Bruins. He's actually scored in back-to-back games, 12-1 for him to find the back of the net this afternoon. Why not? He scored in back-to-back games. Plus 1,200, I'll take a shot. I don't expect him to obviously keep this going indefinitely. Maybe not today. Maybe today's the day he doesn't score. But at that price, I'll take a shot. And I'm going to go back to the well. If he stays on the top line, didn't score last game for Boston, but he was with Pasternak, and that's Marat Husnadinov for the Boston Bruins up on that top line. I definitely think there's some solid value there. I know our friend of the show, Mikey, was mentioning that to us the other day, that he was moved up to the top line. He's plus 570 to find the back of the net here for the Bruins. Marat Husnadinov, I believe he's still going to be on the top line, and if he is, he's worth a bet. All right, Calgary, Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh minus 160, home favorites, 6.5 the total here in this game. Take your pick. The only way I would approach this game right now, and Calgary coming into this current road trip, I think they were last or second last in the NHL in goals scored per game on the road this season, and they're living up to that billing on this road trip. 1 goal and a loss to Montreal, 1 goal and a loss to Boston in the first 2 games of this road trip. The Flames offense going dormant here on the road once again. I think they're right at or near the bottom, the Calgary Flames, as far as goals scored per game on the road this year. And boy, it certainly started that way here on this road trip. So Pittsburgh team total over or Calgary team total under. Take your pick. I mean, I would lean in both directions here in this game. One thing we want to point out with Pittsburgh, remember about 3-4 weeks ago, this team was just the red light district waiting to happen in their own zone. They just couldn't stop giving up goals to the opposition. Well, we have to give them some credit. During this 6-game Penguins win streak, they've actually given up just 1 goal in 3 of those 6 wins, and they've given up 3 or less in 5 of the 6. So they have definitely, turned it around a bit defensively. And it also helps that Stuart Skinner for the Pittsburgh Penguins, he's starting to get comfortable. He's been better in his last couple starts in between the pipes here for the Penguins. He gave up just 1 goal in a win to New Jersey, 1 goal in a win to Detroit, 1 goal in a win to Carolina. So he's 3-0 in his last 3 starts, and he's given up exactly 1 goal in each of those 3 starts. So I have not moved on the game yet, and it'll be small action here for me if I do. But whether it's Penguins team total over because they're scoring right now, and Calgary continues to be lackluster defensively at the moment, and on this road trip they gave up 5 to Montreal, 4 to Boston. In the first two, actually 4 goals to both Boston and Montreal. But Penguins team total over 3.5. You could go that way. You could go Calgary team total under 2.5 because this team just continues to have issues putting the puck in the net on the road. So, like I said, I think whether it's a Penguins team total over and or a Flames team total under, those are the two directions I'm leaning with here in this one. Alex, what do you think here, Calgary, Pittsburgh?
Yeah, this is one where I'll wait for something live to pop up, maybe with that over. Like I said, even Pittsburgh team total, try and get a bigger plus price with that 3.5, or try and get a flat 3. Shout out to Addison, who mentioned that MGM, those team totals with the flat 2, flat 3 are available in game. So this may be a good way to take advantage of that market. But yeah, like I said, just wait and see, get a pace for feel for the pace, and then make a play from there.
Yeah, no doubt. This is a 3:30 p.m. Eastern time game, by the way. So that Pittsburgh team total is actually even money. It's plus 105 actually at some spots. So you can get plus money on Pittsburgh team. I'm going to get involved with that. And I don't even dabble. I'm not an under guy, but I mean Calgary team total under at plus money too. Plus 110. You bet both. You hit one of them, you're profitable. So, like I said, I think definitely it is a concern. Yeah, Flames are not good on the road, and like I said, I know the stat for them offensively is terrible on the road. They're like either last or second last, right near the bottom as far as goals scored on the road this season. The Calgary Flames, it's certainly been an issue for them. Prop-wise for this game, Malkin is back from injury, and he scored in, I believe, both games since he's been back for the Pittsburgh Penguins. You can get him at around plus 280. I mean, it's hard to back a lot of Flames as far as goal scorers, but I will say this. Connor Zary, he did score the only goal for the Calgary Flames against Boston the other night. Streaky player. Maybe he can find the back of the net here for the Flames. All right, we move to the Dallas Stars and San Jose Sharks. This is 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific puck drop in the Shark Tank. Dallas minus 160, road favorites. The total here sitting at 6.5, shaded to the over in this game. Dallas getting off the schneid. They had a long, pretty lengthy losing streak going on, but they beat a depleted, short-handed Washington Capitals team 4-1 in their last game. That snapped a 6-game skid for the Dallas Stars, and now they'll be looking to put wins together here in this one against San Jose. This is a team that Dallas has owned. 8 straight wins, 9-1 in the last 10 meetings versus the San Jose Sharks, and they've already beaten them not once but twice this season. 4-1 in Dallas, 5-3 in San Jose. Yeah, I'm on over 6.5 here. We've talked about this. This is this is a mechanical bet. Mechanical bet until proven otherwise. It's now 10-0-1 to the over for the San Jose Sharks in their last 11 games. They just keep on rolling over the total. Even when it looks like they're not going to go over the total, they still do. A la LA San Jose, the last game San Jose played, where it was just that thing looked like it was going to finally go under, and until it didn't. And of course, Macklin Celebrini puts on a tour de force, game-tying goal. His efforts set up the game-winning goal in overtime for a 4-3 San Jose win in overtime in that game. And now San Jose, after a little bit of a slump, they're heating up again. 5-1 in their last 6 games. I don't fade San Jose as a home dog this year, and I like the way they're playing, but this is usually the spot I like to bet Dallas in. A team that had a bad losing streak, a lengthy one, they finally snapped the losing streak, and sometimes that team goes on a run, and they put a few wins together, especially a good team like the Dallas Stars. Not to mention they've dominated San Jose, so I just don't feel good enough about taking San Jose here. But I am on this over 6.5. It's a no-brainer at this point with San Jose overs until proven otherwise. Alex, what do you think here? Stars, Sharks?
Yeah, right there with you on the over 6.5, but I also grabbed Dallas tied with the over 4.5. Got a layup price for this one, minus $1.15, but I think that's still worth it. Like I said, Dallas has dominated San Jose. I don't see that changing in this contest, and I do think we get goals both ways. So a little bit smaller on that full game over, but a little heavier on the Dallas tied with the over 4.5.
We got Wyatt Johnston, 3-game goal streak. Macklin Celebrini, 2-game goal streak as well, entering this game. I'm still going to stick with some of the value players, though. Duchesne, Maverick Bourque, think are worth a look for Dallas. For San Jose, Chernyshov still on the top line with Celebrini. I've talked about Pavel Regenda as well for the San Jose Sharks and how good he's been since he's been called up. So those are a couple. Colin Graff has had success against Dallas, as Aaron points out. So, it cooled off. He's cooled off, Colin Graff. Maybe this is the day to jump back on the Colin Graff Express one more time today, just because of the and Graff has 3 goals in 3 games against Jake Ottinger, and I do believe it will be Jake Ottinger. Now, the one concern about the over, at least as far as San Jose scoring goals to contribute to it, is that Ottinger hasn't played since this last game against Washington, and that was to Smith. It was the Carolina game, and he got pulled in that game. So he's such a good goalie most of the time that off a game he gets pulled, I'm worried he plays great, but I still think it gets over the total right now. Dallas is still giving up goals too, regardless of who's been in net. They had given up 4+ goals in 6 straight games before shutting down what was a very depleted Washington team without 2 of their best, hottest scorers. Wilson and Protas didn't play in that game that Dallas won 4-1 against them. So I still think San Jose can get goals. Dallas should get goals as well. And one more note to boost this overlook here in this game is that the games in San Jose between these 2 teams, 5 straight overs in San Jose between the Stars and Sharks. 5-3, 8-3, 6-3, 7-6, 5-3, the scores in all those games. So, yeah, still like this over quite a bit. All right, next up, we've got Columbus and Colorado. This is the last of the afternoon games. We've got Colorado minus 340 here in this game. Obviously, massive favorites. The total here, 6.5. And would you look at this? There are some 7s. It's been a while since in the NHL we've seen one of the games start to show 7s appearing with totals. But that is what we're starting to see here with Columbus and Colorado. And I'm sure a big reason for this total just soaring on up as far as 6.5 and the price attached to the 6.5 going up to minus 135, minus 140, minus 150 in some spots. And now the book's moving to 7 in some spots. It's all Elvis Merzlikins related. When we found out, obviously, yesterday that he would start in net, this is like leading a lamb to the wolves here right now. My goodness, at this point in time. So, like I said, this it's all a reaction to Merzlikins being in net, and it's hard to blame them. He's been that bad. He's been that terrible this season for the Columbus Blue Jackets. And to make matters worse for Columbus, all of their defensive numbers are plummeting the last few games. They're giving up more shots. They're giving up more chances. And their defensive play has declined so much that even the great Jet Greaves, in the last 2 games, has given up 4 goals to San Jose, 5 goals in the loss to Vegas. And Jet Greaves is by far a better goaltender right now than Elvis. Now you're going to put Elvis back there again, behind a team whose defensive play is declining and a Colorado team that just scored 8 goals, returning home after 2 losses in Florida when they put up 8 on the board against Ottawa. So, I am on this over 6.5. I will caution you, though, it's minus 150 in some spots, and some of the books have moved it to 7. What I would say is hold your breath. If you haven't bet this over yet, hold your breath and take a chance that maybe we could squeak out 5 scoreless minutes of hockey in the first period of this game. That's maybe asking a lot, but take a chance it can happen. Because if it does, you're going to get 6.5s at even money. And you might even get this thing dropped to 5.5 if we go long enough without a goal. I'm not sure we will, but the potential is there. What I would say is I think you don't want to take it now. It's just so pricey. But there's no chance in hell I'd tell anyone to bet an under in this game at the moment. Alex, what do you think here? Jackets, Avs.
You have to get creative with games like this. When you've got a crazy money line price and a total that's just soaring through the roof where now you're hitting 7s. So what I would recommend is, like you said, if you're waiting for the full game over at a 6.5, try and get even money. I would protect myself with a little bit of goal in the first 5 minutes. Plus 136, not the most attractive price, of course, because they're expecting goals ad nauseum. But that's the way you kind of play that. But what I was looking at and combining, we like the over in Star Sharks. We like the over here. You can combine those 2 at 5.5 at plus 107.
That's really
good.
So
that's what I'm going to do pregame. Combine those 2 overs and knock them down to 5.5, and then, like I said, grab a little bit of goal in the first 5 minutes and wait for, hopefully, like I said, 5 minutes of scoreless hockey. If that doesn't cash, we just go and grab some 6.5 at a closer price to even money.
Yeah, that's I'm going to add that. I've already got them individually Yeah, I'm going to add that little over 5.5 parlay with Dallas, San Jose, and Columbus, Colorado. I actually like the looks of that. Yeah, Merzlikins. Let's give you the numbers. The goals allowed. I mean, just 4, 3, 7, 5, 3, 5, 5, 4, 3, 3, 4. There's no ones or twos or zeros anymore with this guy in between the pipes. It's 3 minimum, and in a lot of the games, it's 4, 5, and even 7 on occasion. So, like I said, it's been tough. And now Columbus's D is struggling now too. That's another thing. Like, they've given up 5 goals in 3 straight games. Pitt, San Jose, and Vegas. Wow, what a tough spot to put this guy in. Wow.
And by the way, we're talking about Elvis Merzlikins, future Olympian. So just imagine what we could be seeing when he comes back from Milan.
You know, beggars can't be choosers. It's Latvia. You got lesser
options. I know. Well, and that's my point. But my point is, if he ends up getting games and he's not playing well over there either, then when he comes back, like, what are we going to see from him? Like, yeah, he may be an auto fade potentially for the remainder of the season.
Yeah, that's unfortunately boring bets. I didn't think they'd do. I think I see what you did there. I didn't think they'd put Elvis in. Seems cruel. So you're saying the great Elvis, the most famous Elvis had a song called "Don't Be Cruel," and Dean Evason's chosen to be cruel to Elvis. Is that what you're saying? Don't be cruel to a goalie that sucks. Yeah, and that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
I don't want another goal to go in. It's still you, I think, that sucks. Yeah, but there we go. Have some fun on a Saturday. Why not? But yeah, as far as goal props, obviously, there's a few. I mean, Brock Nelson's hotter than a pistol right now for this Avs team. So again, not bargain bin prices, but still, if you want to ride the hot hand right now, you could do a lot worse than taking Brock Nelson at the moment for the Colorado Avalanche. So, like I said, it's that's definitely something that I am interested in here for this game. I think there was some. Yeah, it's Ross Colton, Brock Nelson, Big Val Nichushkin. That has been. Natchez has been certainly very good, heating up. Lehkonen on that top line. There's probably some value. The one that I'm going to go to with Columbus, because I do think Columbus is going to score at least a couple here in this game. Kent Johnson. One thing I was right about is that this kid's going to eventually find, rock bottom has hit Kent Johnson, and eventually, we're going to see some positive shooting regression because he's a good offensive player. I can't explain why he's stuck on 4 goals, 3 goals before he finally got on the board against Vegas in Columbus last game. Maybe that's a sign that this kid can get it going a little bit for the Columbus Blue Jackets because he's got tremendous talent and skill. And I'm going to take a shot. He can, you know how I often say when you score a goal to snap a drought, the floodgates can open. So plus 540 here with Kent Johnson for the Columbus Blue Jackets, that maybe you can find the back of the net for a second straight game after an extended slump. All right, the rest of the games are at night. We go to Tampa Bay and Philadelphia next up. We've got Tampa Bay, minus 170 road favorites here in this game. The total sitting at, well, some books have 5, some have 6. And it's basically been this way from the open. So a split line with the total. Some have 5.5, some 6. So shop around as far as the total is concerned in this game. Tampa Bay playing great hockey. 8 straight wins now for the Tampa Bay Lightning. What's been impressive is this is a great coaching job by John Cooper. He deserves all the flowers going his way for what he's done because he's still got 3 regular defensemen out. Lilleberg, Hedman is still out for this team on the blue line. And the other one is blanking on it. But, McDonough is still back on IR again. So Hedman, McDonough, and Lilleberg. And they just keep on finding ways to win. Now, they've done it because the scoring production on this team is through the roof right now. I mean, this team is lethal right now on the power play. Their power play has been great during this stretch. They've scored a power play goal in 4 straight games. During this 8-game win streak, they have scored 4 goals in every single game, 4 or more, 4+ goals in each game during this 8-game win streak for the Tampa Bay Lightning. So we'll see if that continues. I didn't love this spot initially for Tampa Bay. And overnight, I assumed some things I shouldn't have, but overnight I was thinking, with Tampa rolling along, and 8 straight wins, feeling a little high and mighty now after beating the mighty Colorado Avalanche 4-2 in their last game, that they might be walking into a tough spot here against Philadelphia, who are off a tough loss in overtime to Toronto. Rick Tocchet off a loss this year has been terrific. We've talked about it, how good the Flyers have been off a loss. So overnight, I took Philly plus, in this range, plus 150. But I expected Vladar in net, and now we hear it's Sam Ersson, and there's definitely a decline and a downgrade from Vladar to Ersson. And now with Sam Ersson in net, I got to admit, I'm a little bit petrified of taking the Flyers here in this game. But what I like the most in this game, and I like the total more than the side from the get-go in this game, is the over 5.5. You could even maybe look at a first period over as well in this game. And this is the system involving the Philadelphia Flyers that I have mentioned a couple times now. Off a loss this season, when the Philadelphia Flyers lose and they score 1 goal or less, 1 goal or fewer in that loss, they are 8-1 to the over in the next game. 8-1 to the over in the next game when scoring 1 goal or less in the previous game. 8-1. And I remember I mentioned it the last time they played. It was a Saturday game. It was against Edmonton. Last weekend, I mentioned that angle, off a loss, 1 goal or less, and how they've been trending over. And that game went over the total. So really like this over 5.5. Tampa Bay, by the way, 7 of the 8 games during this win streak for Tampa Bay have had at least 6 goals. So that's why if you can get the 5.5, and I'll let you know right now, there is 5.5 still at FanDuel. Now, it is heavy juice, minus 140, but you can still get that 5.5 at FanDuel. So I like over 5.5. I like first period over as well. I like full game more. But again, the angle. And write this down for future reference because this has been terrific this year. Philly, when scoring 1 goal or fewer in their previous game, 8-1 to the over in their next game. Alex, what do you think? Lightning, Flyers.
Yeah, I looked strictly at total here. I wasn't touching the side with this. Like I said, it would not shock me one bit if the streak for the Lightning comes to an end tonight, but I do expect goals here. Grab that first period over. I got minus $1.20. I like it. Pre-game up to $1.30. Otherwise, wait for it live. I grabbed 6 minus $1.06 at FanDuel earlier. That is now moved to $1.15, $1.20. So I've seen some 5.5s. You see 5.5s at 135 or 140. I'd say wait a couple minutes and try and grab something at a little bit better price. But liking the overs here. So over by factor for me. And I do have a bargain bin coming from this game.
All right, good stuff indeed. Yeah, total's gone to 6.5 and some has it? Yeah, there's a couple books that have 6.5. There's actually some books that have 6.5 and some have 6, and then there's some that are actually still 5.5 heavily juiced. Yeah. So it's all over around here.
Yeah,
no question about that. You're going to have to. Here's the thing. It's worth bringing this up. Flyers and Tampa head-to-head games have been under. Yes, in the last 2, both of them under. 3 of the last 4 under. But here's the thing with that. All of those games were in Tampa. If you look at the games in Philadelphia between the Lightning and Flyers, it's actually 3 straight overs. It's 4-3, 6-2, 6-3 in the last 3 games in Philadelphia between the Lightning and the Flyers. So it's kind of a home road split with the totals between these 2 teams. The games in Tampa have gone under, but the games in Philly have been flying over, which is kind of, you'd think actually would be the reverse. Maybe that the games in Philly would be a little low scoring and Tampa, the games down there would be a higher scoring, but it's the opposite. True. Yeah, here in this game. Prop wise, obviously a lot of players are going right now at the offensive end for the Tampa Bay Lightning. 4 goals or more in every game during this 8-game win streak for them. Hagel, back-to-back games with a goal for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Of late. What I would say, though, is look for a Gage Gonsalves. He remains playing with Point and Kucherov. There's great value if he keeps playing there. We've seen the likes of a Pontus Holmberg step up on occasion as well, but I think Gage Gonsalves, my favorite value look, playing on that top line. For Philadelphia, we talked about how it's been by committee, Cates, Mishkov. Now, by the way, I should point out, Travis Konechny has shown up on the injury report. Won't be in the lineup for the Flyers tonight. There was hope he would be, so they'll miss him. And as a result, Mishkov goes up to the top line for the Philadelphia Flyers, and I think Mishkov might be worth a look there for goal prop. Darren Radish, yes, Darren Radish, is doing everything Hedman did for this team. Power play minutes, shooting the puck more, getting involved more in the offense for this Tampa Bay Lightning team. So definitely I think Darren Radish props continue to be a good look. I have gotten away from Nick Paul. He's been banished. I don't know why, but suddenly he's down on the 4th line for Tampa Bay. But that's a good point by Nick. 3 goals in the last 4 games for Nick Paul, one of our favorites against the Philadelphia Flyers. So that is worth noting as well. I'll keep that in mind. Someone giving us an AHL bet. Belleville Senators over the Toronto Marlies. Revenge spot. Toronto destroyed Belleville 6-1 last night. Belleville beat Toronto 8-4 last time at home. Okay. Sounds good to me. I know the parent team is a mess right now for Belleville, but we can bet on the farm team, I guess. Yeah, and then spot. Yeah. Okay, I'll keep that in mind. Belleville. That makes sense, right? Toronto beat them. They play these home and homes a lot in the AHL, Friday, Saturday. So there you go. Thank you very much, Van City Canuck, with the an AHL pick for us, which actually makes sense just, as far as spot-wise is concerned. All right, good stuff. On we go. Anaheim, Buffalo. We've got Buffalo minus 150, home favorites, 6.5 the total in this game. This is another mechanical over. We talked about it with San Jose earlier. We're talking about it with Anaheim now. You just bet overs with Anaheim until they prove otherwise. I mean, what is it now? It's 7 straight overs for the Anaheim Ducks, 9-1 to the over in their last 10 games. They can't defend right now. It doesn't matter who's in net for the Anaheim Ducks, whether it's struggling Dostal, who hasn't been right since the injury, whether it's Mrazek, and it won't be Mrazek because he's on IR, or even Ville Husso, who gave up 5 goals against Carolina the other night. I would think it's back to Dostal for Coach Q. But again, it's been a fall from grace for Dostal because I think that injury really fucked him up. It really did, because he has definitely not been the same comfortable quality goaltender that we have seen in the past. So like I said, it's just we keep betting it until it loses at this point, 6.5. Here's the thing with Buffalo. I've always been a little bit hesitant with Buffalo home overs when it's UPL. In between the pipes, and I believe it's going to be Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen tonight for them because his numbers have been so great on home ice. Like, we're talking sub 2 goals against average and at like a .930 close to it save percentage. But the last time we saw him start at home, it was against Vancouver earlier this week. It was 5-3 Buffalo. It went over the total in that game. So I think Anaheim offensively is still good enough to put a puck or 2 or even 3 past UPL. UPL gave up 3 to Vancouver. If he can give up 3 to Vancouver at home in his last start, he can probably give up 2 or 3 minimum here to Anaheim, even though his numbers are good. And obviously we expect Buffalo to be able to score goals against this struggling Anaheim defensive unit and the goaltending for that matter. I mean, for Anaheim, my goodness, they have given up 22 goals in their last 4 games combined. 22 in their last 4 games combined. That's just not going to win you a lot of hockey games. And don't look now, Buffalo, they have scored 4 goals or more, this Sabres team, 5 of their last 6 games. So the Buffalo Sabres offensively heating up. Tage Thompson, has been great. Josh Doan, you got to bet Josh Doan. He's on a heater right now, making the Robinsons proud. Josh Norris, since they got him, I mean, they're a better offensive team since they got him back from injury. Alex Tuck, Jason Zucker, they're getting some depth contributions. They're getting the blue line chipping in. Bo Byram, Rasmus Dahlin have been chipping into the scoring routinely. So that's why Buffalo, good offensive form right now. They're getting a variety of sources getting involved. Alex, what do you think here? Anaheim, Buffalo.
This is one where I do have it circled, trying to wait for that over 6.5 to kind of drop into plus money territory. But this is one where I might have to, like I said, do the same thing I'm doing with that Colorado game. Grab goal in first 5 minutes a little beforehand. Because like I said, those numbers with Buffalo, the way they've been playing offensively, and like I said, Anaheim's goaltending still a little shaky. So this could be a track meet. So I'll go goal in first 5 minutes and wait to try and grab something a little closer to even money with that 6.5.
Yeah, no doubt. Good stuff there. As far as props for this game, there's certainly still a few props, that I like here when it comes to this. I mean, Josh Doan, 4 straight games with a goal. It's not bargain bin anymore with him because of this run, but it's worth a look. Alex Tuck, 2 games in a row with a goal. Ryan McLeod, there's another guy, stepped up for the Sabres. He scored in back-to-back games for the Buffalo Sabres entering this matchup tonight. So there's just a lot of players in good form feeling it offensively right now. For the Buffalo Sabres that you could roll with here from a prop standpoint in this game. Anaheim, Michael Granlund, McTavish, and Seneca. Hey, you know that Seneca jingle? Beckett Seneca for Anaheim? It's Seneca Casino. It's a Seneca Casino jingle, which is a casino chain in Western New York. He's got to score tonight. Beckett Seneca.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
That
Seneca
little
Casino.
synergy right there. Yeah.
By the way, how many times did fucking Fernando Mendoza say that word last night? Synergy. I think that's like his favorite word in the
Right.
post game last night after Indiana
Yeah.
just bludgeoned Oregon in the college football semifinal. But that's another story. Yeah, but Beckett Seneca. Come on, you got to score here. I sing the Seneca Casino jingle here, Western New York. So I think I like it anyway because he's on the top line for Anaheim. Granlund, I think there's value up on the top line as well for this Anaheim team. Alex Killorn, second line. He scored in 2 of the last 3 games. And like I said, for Buffalo, Doan, Zucker, Tuck, all in good form. Ryan McLeod. Those are some of the props I'm interested in for the Buffalo State. Even Matthias Samuelsson. That's a good point. And Real Deal Prime finally has something to be happy about. And finally some joy in his life with what he's seeing from Buffalo. But yeah, Matthias Samuelsson, 3 points in the last 2 games, scored against the Rangers. He scored a couple of goals recently for them. So if you really want to take a small flyer on someone, you could go that route. And yeah, Leo Carlsson has cooled off. He'll be fine long term, but hey, great players are going to go through a drought, and he's in one right now for Anaheim. All right, Vancouver, Toronto. We've got the Leafs minus 170, home favorite, 6 the total. I mean, I'm not stepping in front of the Leafs right now. They're playing great hockey, 14 points out of a possible 16 points in their last 8 games to get them right back in the mix for not only a playoff spot, but they're right there for the Atlantic all of a sudden. Once again, this Toronto team, because it's so bunched up. Like Detroit and Montreal at the top of that division aren't that far ahead of Toronto right now. So this run has really put the Leafs in a good spot. They're coming off, big win against Florida, a gutted out, tight checking win against Philadelphia in overtime. Not the spot that I want to lay minus 170 with Toronto in, but I'm definitely not standing in their way at the moment either. I'm going to take a shot with the draw here, Vancouver and Toronto. I could see it East versus West matchup between these two teams. Could see overtime. Hell, I had the draw with Leafs and Flyers on Thursday night between those two teams. When you look at the Leafs, they've still gone past regulation 3 of their last 6 games. Vancouver's gone past regulation 3 of their last 6 games as well. So I think the draw could hit here. So that's the only bet pregame for me, Vancouver, Toronto draw. It's going to be Woll and Demko. Your goaltending matchup here. And William Nylander is back for the Leafs. Well said, energized. He is back, and certainly that will help the Leafs up front. What do you think here, Alex? Canucks, Leafs?
Yeah, I was trying to see if I could make a case for Leafs team total in this, but when you look at the head-to-head history, Vancouver's, gotten the best of Toronto, and they've been some low and slow contests of late. So this is one, like I said, draw makes a lot of sense. So I'm going to go play the draw. You get that over at Caesars as game to go to overtime. Yes, plus 340. That's your best price available. But also, I'll be taking Maple Leafs to win in overtime or shootout over at FanDuel. Get that in that plus 500, plus 550 range.
So Toronto, if this game was in Vancouver, I would be on Vancouver because Toronto never, ever, ever wins in Vancouver. It is crazy how many games in a row they've lost in Vancouver, the Leafs. But the Leafs have beaten them a handful of times here at home. Not the last time Vancouver was here, Vancouver won. But overall, the Leafs have won more of the home games against the Canucks than not. It's that they never win in Vancouver, the Leafs, over the years. That's the spot where I'd be interested in taking Vancouver, not tonight. Why not, Jonathan? You hit the revenge narrative. Now, this is a real shot in the dark with this one because Scott Laughton's capable offensively. He's a forward. Him scoring against Philly, you could somewhat see it. But you're right, Troy Stecher, kind of given up on by the Canucks, one of his multiple former teams. And Troy Stetcher's played really solid hockey for this team on the back end since they picked him up at 22-1, as the best price for him to find the back of the net. David Kampf revenge game. Yeah. Plus 750. Now, he doesn't score ever, hardly, but I think he did score a goal recently for Vancouver, if I'm not mistaken. I know he has scored at least once with the Vancouver Canucks since he's been there. And you're right, the Leafs gave up on him. That narrative makes sense. Yeah, 2 goals for David Kampf on the season. His last goal was December the 30th. He scored against Philadelphia. That was the last time he scored. So, I lean under 2. This is definitely not an over I like with Vancouver, Toronto. Under series history, Woll's a good goalie. Demko's been good for the most, especially on the road since he's been back. So, yeah, this could be low and slow indeed. And the history between these two teams dictates that we've seen more unders. All right, Detroit and Montreal. This is actually a very big game. These are two teams battling it out right now for first in the Atlantic, tied for first in the division. Who would have thought that? But here we are. Montreal minus 135, home favorites. Total here sitting at 6.5 across the board. This is another one that I'm not sure is going to go over the total. And I say that because you got John Gibson in net here for Detroit. He's been terrific of late. Very, very strong in between the pipes for the Detroit Red Wings. And Montreal and Marty St. Louis is going to go with Jacob Fowler in net for the Canadiens tonight. And he has really, now, not that he was ever playing poorly. I think he had maybe one start where he was so mediocre. But the last couple of times we've seen Jacob Fowler, since the loss to Tampa Bay, 5-4 against the Lightning on December 28th. Other than that, well, he played well against Boston as well, right before Christmas. 2 goals allowed, 6-2 Montreal win. But look at the 2 starts in January for Fowler. 2 goals. Now, they lost 2-0, but again, he played well enough, only gave up 2 goals. And then the 1 goal allowed against Calgary, 4-1 in his last start. So, he's played well in his last multiple starts here, Jacob Fowler, and he is the goalie of the future for them. This is the guy they envisioned to be the number 1 goaltender for a long time for this team. So you got him in good form. You got Gibson, obviously, in good form. So I know long-term it's an over series, but a lot of those were earlier in the series. The last few, there's been a couple unders with Detroit and Montreal. This is another one I will sprinkle on the draw with Detroit and Montreal. I think it's going to be a close game, competitive game. Goaltenders, both sides are in good form. Seeing a 2-2, 3-3 game that goes to overtime would not shock me in the least here in this game. Don't really want to fade either team, right? Detroit is a dog. Don't really want to go against that. Montreal with Fowler in net, given his last couple really good starts at home, and they're playing great too, Montreal at the moment. A couple of nice wins this week, beating Calgary, beating Florida. That's right, before that as well. I don't want to step in front of the Habs either, but I will take the draw here in this game. Alex, what do you think? Red Wings, Habs.
Yeah, right there with you on this draw. And no, this isn't the strong draw history we once had between these two teams. I think it was a stretch where you had 4 games in a row that went past regulation. Yep. We've seen that kind of cool off, but I feel like this is a spot. Like I said, 1 and 2 in the division, playing each other. This is a draw season kind of a spot here, and you can get that plus 340 once again at Caesars with this. But I like the Habs to get the win here in this spot, so I'm doing the same thing like I did with the Leafs. Get the draw plus 340 at Caesars. Give me Habs to win in overtime or shootout plus 550 is the price available over at FanDuel.
If you break up John Gibson's season for the Red Wings in net from December 1st onward, let me give you the record and the numbers for Gibson December 1st onward. 11-2, 2.17 goals against, 927 save percentage. Just terrific. I mean, you'd be hard-pressed to find a goalie with many goalies with better numbers than John Gibson since December 1st. I mean, it has been a great run here for him over the last month. It's a great game, though. I'm looking forward to seeing it. That's why it's in the marquee, Detroit and Montreal, in the title, the video title. I said I'm going to make this the spotlight game in our YouTube title for today's show. It's a big game. It's a good game. It's battle for first in the Atlantic Division. So looking forward to it. And don't forget the history of these teams where didn't Detroit and Montreal play late in the season when Detroit was trying to get into the playoffs? Yep. I remember that.
Back-to-back games.
Yeah, and right at the end of the year, I remember that when Detroit was trying frantically to get in and they just missed getting into the playoffs. So a lot of recent history here. There's a lot of goal. Even though I don't know if it's going to be an all-out high-scoring affair, you have to take Oliver Kapanen. He scored 3 straight games now for Montreal. You have to take Alexander Texier again. He's scored in back-to-back games for the Montreal Canadiens since going up to the Caulfield top line for the Montreal Canadiens. So those are 2 that are must-play for me. Texier and Kapanen for the Montreal Canadiens. Emmett Finney's back on the top line with Casper and Larkin. So Emmett Finney might be worth a good value shot here tonight in this game for the Detroit Red Wings. JVR, the old veteran, is starting to actually heat up just a little bit once again for the Detroit Red Wings. So definitely, like I said, there's some decent goal prop options here in this Red Wings Canadiens game. All right, Seattle Kraken and Carolina Hurricanes, the John Forsland Bowl. This is what I call it, the John Forsland Bowl. This is his current team that he's the voice of, Seattle, and is the team he was the voice of for 20 years or 15 years at least. Carolina before that. We've got Carolina minus 280, home favorites in this game. The total sitting at, looks like 6, pretty much across the board here in this game. Seattle was on a nice overrun. It came to an end against Minnesota when they lost 3-2 to the Wild in their last game. We'll see how they fare here tonight, starting a road trip. It also snapped a nice little win streak they had going. Decord and Bussy is what I am expecting as far as the goaltending matchup here in this game, although it's not confirmed as of yet. We'll have to wait and see. But this is no bet for me until I know the goalies. And it has to be that way with Carolina because Anderson got the win. Do not be fooled. I hope Rod Brindamore's not fooled by it. Yeah, it's Bussy. So there you go. Rod Brindamore isn't fooled by Freddie Anderson getting the win against Anaheim. You're supposed to get the win when you face 13 fucking shots on goal for the full game. And that's what happened in that Anaheim game. They protected the house like you couldn't believe in that game, Alex, against Anaheim, because they're petrified of Frederick Anderson right now. And they only faced 13 shots and actually still gave up 2 goals, even though he faced 13 shots. So that's not a sign of Freddie Anderson got his groove back. Unlike Stella, he did not get his groove back in that last game for the Carolina Hurricanes. We'll see how this one plays out, but yeah, it's no bet for now at the moment. I think Seattle could cool off again. The win streak was nice, and look, the win streak was still good for them because they're in a decent position now in this loaded wild card chase at the moment. But you start to look at the wins: Boston, Calgary, Vancouver, Nashville, L.A. Anaheim when Anaheim was struggling. They haven't beaten a lot of good teams during this run, Seattle, and now they're facing a pretty good team. And a Carolina team that, now they've won 3 in a row. They're scoring goals again. Bussy's been good enough. I wouldn't want Seattle here tonight. But again, minus 280. The only thing you can do with Carolina is you take first period puck line, or you take full game puck line or team total over if you want to get involved with them. Alex, what do you think here, Seattle, Carolina?
It's 14 games on the board tonight. You can't bet them all. This is a pass for me.
Nothing wrong with that on a big card like this, no question. Like I said, and there is something I can bet, though. We got to ride him, the Stank Man. Logan Stankoven, who was a bargain bin winner for me in Carolina's last game. He's now scored in 3 straight games for the Hurricanes. Still bargain bin price range for Logan Stankoven tonight for the Carolina Hurricanes at plus 365. Best price out there. So definitely liking the yeah, that's hockey, baby. We should hear that from John tonight. He's not doing that for Carolina, though. He only does that for the team he broadcasts for, Seattle. He'll on the national broadcasts, he'll do it for both teams, obviously, because he's a neutral broadcaster when he's doing TNT and he's doing Amazon Prime. But when he's doing a Kraken Hockey Network broadcast, he ain't doing that's hockey, baby, for Carolina tonight. That's only going to be for a Seattle goal. And I know that. I've never heard John Forsland break out that's hockey, baby, for an opponent on the Seattle broadcasts. National broadcast will do it for both teams. But like I said, you got to give the home fans what they want. That's the way it works.
And I don't think we're ever going to get a Seattle Carolina national broadcast game anytime soon.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. He could do both teams if it was a TNT Seattle Carolina game and he was assigned to it, but yeah, I don't think we're going to see that. You're right. Anytime soon. All right, next up, Florida, Ottawa. We've got, looks like even money. Actually, Ottawa in some places, slight favorites. We're looking at Ottawa minus 115 to minus 120 home favorites in this game. The total sitting at 6, shaded to the over, 6.5 in some spots. Okay, here is where I stand on this whole situation with Ottawa. We know the rumblings and the rumors of this whole Lena Solmark and cheating scandal going on behind the scenes. I dismissed it because I didn't know the guy that's spouting his mouth about it. I'd never heard of the guy. And then the statement came out from Steve Staios, vehemently denying it, saying it's sickening that the trolls are putting this garbage out there. And my first thought is, okay, it's nothing now. It's done. It's obviously fabricated. It's false. But then I started thinking about it more, and it's like that statement looked like it was just maybe trying to put out a fire that might actually be there. Potentially, that there might be something to it. That's and there's sources out there that seem to think there's something to this report. There's something to this speculation about what's been going on behind the scenes. involving the Ottawa Senators. That's all I'm going to say about it. So if it sounds like there's at least something going on behind the scenes, and part of it that has led to Linus Ullmark's leave of absence, which is ongoing, and you correlate it to what we're seeing on the ice right now from the Ottawa Senators, and it's a team that's unbackable for me right now. They're just not a team I want my money on at this point in time. And we saw it. They've not had a good little stretch here, during the last few games. Did that look like a team that was conscience-free, nice and easy against Colorado the first game? Now, Colorado's a juggernaut, and they were off 2 losses in a row. Let's not forget that. Bury the lead. But did that look like a team that had a free conscience? Nice and whew. Thank you to our GM for putting that statement out for this garbage. Now we can relax and play well. No, they were awful, and they played poorly again. Getting bombed by Colorado. They lost to Utah 3-1. They lost to Detroit 5-3. They are a lousy 2-6 in their last 8 games. So maybe there's something going on, and it's affecting them a little bit mentally. Again, this is now me speculating, but I think it's a possibility, at the very least. So regardless of whether it's that causing it, they're not playing great hockey right now, and their goaltending is a disaster. It doesn't matter right now if it's Levi Marilainen, who's in net tonight, or Hunter Shepard, or Mads Sogard, or Patrick
Damian
Lalime,
Rose.
Patrick Lalime. Maybe they call him back from retirement and get him in net. They can't keep the puck out of the freaking net right now, this Ottawa Senators team. And I think, and look, Florida's no great shakes now either. The last time they were in an Eastern Canadian road trip, I don't think they won a game. They're already 0-2 on this Eastern Canadian road trip, losing to Toronto, losing to Montreal. They're banged up as well. Brad Marchand, is he going to return tonight? He's missed the last game. He's out again. They're struggling on this road trip. I still want Florida here. Give me Florida plus 100. And I'll tell you why. Because I think this is a circle the wagon spot for Florida. You've lost 2 games in a row on this trip. One is to Toronto, red-hot hockey team. One is to Ottawa, Montreal, playing really good the last few games. Now you're playing this Ottawa team that's struggling, can't get a save right now, having issues in their own zone. I think this is the time to step in and take Florida here. Bounce back spot with or without Marchand. Looks like Marchand's out. He was on the ice for the morning skate, but my RotoWire screen says will not be available tonight. And that was Jameson Olive, who's all over the Panthers, one of the great beat reporters for the Panthers, Jameson Olive, that mentioned that. So no Marchand tonight. They do miss him. There's no doubt. One night against this Ottawa team that's cratering right now, I think Florida can get the job done. And goalie Bob is confirmed in net for the Panthers. So I like Florida plus 100. And until proven otherwise, I'm on every Ottawa game over the total until I lose at this point in time. Over 6, minus 120. Alex, what do you think here? Panthers, Senators.
Junior year of high school, I took psychology class. And one of the things that I remember learning was that you have someone vehemently deny a claim over and over again, you kind of wonder, it leads to smoke. And then we always say when there's smoke, there's fire. And the statement that made me think that, okay, maybe there's more going on than what we were led to believe with Ottawa was Brady Tkachuk after the game as well. That didn't, like I said, if this was just bullshit, then you just let it just trail under the water. Okay, your GM made a statement, you move on and go from there. But then he made a statement as well. And now it's just, like I said, we're starting to hear rumblings of things more. It's just a bad spot. And like I said, Ottawa's already playing bad hockey heading into this. This doesn't make things any better. This is a spot, like I said, where Florida can smell blood for sure. So give me Florida money line. Give me Florida tied with the over 4.5 at plus 135. And give me that over 6. I'll grab that small. I might try and wait and grab a little piece of 5.5 in game as well. But definitely all over Florida. And like I said, tied with that over 4.5 as a parlay.
I'll probably tack on team total over with the Panthers as well here in this game, thinking that they could certainly hit the 4-goal mark in this game. And it's over 3 minus 112. I mean, I wouldn't lay minus 160 or 70 with 2.5, but you can get over 3 minus 112 at Bet Rivers. Yeah,
and you get 118 at BetMGM with that flat 3.
Flat 3. I'll add that as well. Because how do you trust the goaltending? We've all seen it. How do you have any faith right now? Marilainen, because it's Marilainen tonight, but anyone else either. Shepard, Sogard, like there's problems right now, no doubt. So like I said, it's Florida, I think, a good spot to bounce. And I think Florida, that's another thing too why I like Florida. I think full focus on this game for Florida because they've lost the first 2 games of this road trip. They're not going to take Ottawa lightly tonight. So, again, that is definitely, like I said, why I think Panthers are in a good spot here tonight. And then as far as props go for this game, couple that I'm interested in. I do like Pinto. Pinto scored last game. He's a streaky goal scorer. Parlay Pinto for Ottawa to find the back of the net. But then all the other props I like are Florida related. I like, once again, Anton Lundell playing with Lusterinen and Reinhart. We've got Jesper Boquist, too. I think this is someone that's entered the lineup. No, he's been in the lineup for a while, but I think Jesper Boquist has been shooting the puck a little bit more. May go in that direction. Obviously, they'll miss Marchand, but like I said, we'll see if they can get Bennett for Hagee, their big guns, going a little bit. And like I said, this is a goaltending situation right now for the Ottawa Senators that is inviting teams to get right offensively against them. All right, next up, Chicago and Nashville. I mean, I'm going to be brief here. I'm not going to blather on about a game where we just don't know enough yet. We've got Chicago minus 210, home favorites, 6 the total. Can't bet it until I know who's in. Obviously, we know the flu bug, the stomach virus roaring through the team right now that caused multiple absences at the last minute last night against Washington. They lose that game 5-1 to the Capitals. I mean, just right now, it's Nashville or pass. I mean, I can't back Chicago right now in their current situation, given, we don't know who's going to be in the lineup tonight, whether and where we're at as far as the progress with this bug. But knowing how people have gotten sick this time, I've been sick. You guys saw it. I had the throat, I had the cough, and I felt like I was dying on the air some of the time. And I appreciate you guys hanging with me during those shows. What was it, early December when I was sick? It took me not days. It took me a good couple weeks to get over it. So can you imagine now if some of these Chicago players, what they're going through? Maybe it's not going to be just days to get this out of their system. So that's another thing you got to wonder about here going into this game. It would be Nashville or pass, but again, minus 210 is not, a price that I'm interested in. It looks like Saros is confirmed in net. Now we could be looking at, did they start Drew Commesso on the back-to-back? Because Soderblom might be down and out still with the stomach bug. Spencer Knight could be down and out still with the stomach bug. Do they put Drew Commesso in on a back-to-back? And the other option is Stanislav Berezhnoi here for them. Berezhnoi, I should say, for the Chicago Blackhawks. That's the other option right now for them in net. Called up from the AHL, where I think he's got a 3 goals against and an 8-something save percentage, which isn't great, obviously. But you never in a million years expected him to even sniff a shot with Chicago. But circumstances have dictated that in an emergency situation, he's up here right now with the Blackhawks. So, like I said, this is just completely a wait and see until we get the lineup confirmed for the Blackhawks. Alex, Chicago, Nashville.
If only we still had Laurent Brossoit, huh? Timing is everything. You trade him away, and shit goes haywire. And now here you are relying on your 3rd and 4th string goalies. And like you mentioned, Sergei Beznohoy, this is a guy who literally just came over from Russia with this last year. He barely speaks English, as I'm reading a quote from Ben Pope, Sun Times writer who follows the Blackhawks. Like you said, 9 appearances in the AHL, 889 save percentage. You really don't hope that he's not the guy that's in net. But I believe he's brought in just to back up Drew Commesso. You had some emergency guy, I can't remember his name, who was backing up Commesso last night, wearing number 40, ironically. So, yeah, no Knight, no Soderblom on this trip. You can't touch anything Blackhawks right now because, like I said, we don't even know amongst the guys who are playing who's playing through this illness. And like you said, the flu bug has gone around. This has been a bad flu season overall. The way I would play this, the one play I will have is Nashville first period alternate team total going over 1.5 plus 215. Commesso got a start in Nashville a while back. It was not good. There's been a trend of guys getting called up from Norfolk, Rockford over the years, playing at Nashville with the Hawks, and their starts have not been good. So this looks like it could be a spot where Smashville, they're not Trashville tonight, they're probably Smashville, at least early in the contest. So I like them to get maybe even a sprinkle on first period correct score, 2-0 Nashville as well. But I will be on that alternate team total over in the first period with the Preds.
All right. Yeah. That, by the way, a couple props, though, that I do think might be worth a look. Oliver Moore for Chicago has goals in back-to-back games for them. And you're getting him at a nice, plus 475 price. So keep that in mind. Nick Lardis, we've got to get back in the hopefully we time it right with him maybe to find the back of the net here for Chicago in this game tonight. One thing that's worth noting here for the Nashville Predators is that we've talked about for a while how great Steven Stamkos has been during this run. There's no question there. Bunting's been good. He's scored in 2 of the last 5 games for the Nashville Predators. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Ryan O'Reilly also has goals in back-to-back games for the Nashville Predators. All right, New York Islanders, Minnesota Wild. Minnesota minus 150 home favorites, 5.5 the total in this game. This is brutal for Minnesota, and they got banged up at the end of that road trip when they finished it in Seattle. But now they're off a 7-game road trip, first game home, much of it out west, and now you lose Joel Eriksson possibly at the end of that trip, although I think he's a game-time decision still. They haven't totally ruled him out yet for this game tonight, but totally wouldn't be shocked if he indeed is able to if he finds his way onto the ice, or if he doesn't play, I should say, tonight for Minnesota. So you got that going on, obviously, with no Eriksson possibly, and that's one of your centers. So you could be having to put Ben Jones in there, and all of a sudden you've got Urov and Hartman moving up, and Sturm and Jones as your 4 centers tonight for this Minnesota Wild team. That's not ideal. And you got a New York Islanders team that could be ready to pounce on you here. They're off the loss to Nashville the other night. Looks like Bo Horvat is out still. There was hope he rejoined the road trip, but he didn't even travel with the team. There was initial rumblings he had traveled with the team. He didn't travel with the team. So he is not back, but I still think this is a great spot to back the New York Islanders. I think it's just a brutal situation. Minnesota's been on the road forever. Think about this. This road trip started for the Minnesota Wild right after the Christmas break. So they have essentially been away from Minneapolis, St. Paul since December 25th. They have not scored. They have not played a home game since then. This is their first game back. Tons of distractions always when you've been away that long. A Minnesota team that's now accumulating some injuries. And an Islanders team that could be ready to cash in on it. And because this is that very lengthy 7-game road trip that Minnesota's returning home from, not only do I like Islanders plus 130 here, full game money line, I'm going with the first period money line. I'm going with Islanders first goal, first period here as well in this game. That's an angle that we have attacked a lot against these teams coming home off that extra long road trip. And this is as long as it gets, 7 games. Again, they have not played a home game at Grand Casino Arena since before Christmas. And of course, the reason for that is because the World Junior Hockey Championship took over Grand Casino Arena. That's why Minnesota's been on the road for so long. So I think it's a great Islander spot, and I'm on it in multiple ways. Alex, what do you think? Islanders, Wild.
Well, we'll get back to seeing a full arena at Grand Casino Arena tonight because it's no longer the World Junior
didn't see that for the World Juniors. Now, did we?
No, I think more people are going to come out for the Wild tonight.
Yeah.
A nice Saturday evening in downtown St. Paul for sure. But it won't be as nice for the result. I'm right there with you on Isles. First goal, first period, money line. I grabbed team total over 2.5. I have no problem laying the $1.25 with that. You can wait a little bit in game and try and see if we can get that closer to a pick and price. And I'm going to take a small sprinkle on the over 5.5 here as well. Like I said, I think Minnesota will be able to chip in some goals, but I like the Owls to get this win. I think this could be a tough spot, like I said, coming off of that road trip. So everything Islanders, like I said, first goal, first period. I'm not on that first period money line like you are. I'm just on full game money line, but also team total over and full game over.
All right, good stuff indeed. As far as player props here for this game with Minnesota and the Islanders, there are a couple that I'm interested in. Simon Holmstrom and Ryan Hartman have scored in back-to-back games for their respective teams. So there we go. I think Kuznetsov just scored for Boston. Yeah, there we go. Goal prop. I think it's him. Yes. Wow.
Nice.
Wow. This was a nice goal. Holy fuck. Just saw it a minute ago. Yeah, Rangers had already scored 1-0, so 1-1. First period over, cashes in the first 5 minutes of the game. So there you go. Nice and early. Hopefully goals for the games we'd like the overs in later. If the start to that game is any indication. So there we go. Kuznetsov Told you we stuck with it with that guy up on the top line. So there we go. Great to see that. 1-1 Rangers and Bruins. Good stuff indeed with that, with him cashing. That's someone to keep looking toward for goal props if he stays up on that top line. So again, getting back to this game, Holmstrom for the Islanders, Hartman for the Wild for goal props. Definitely like both of them here. And plus Hartman could get elevated minutes. He could be your number 2 center tonight if Joel Eriksson Ek's out for the Minnesota Wild. So keep that in mind. There could be some issues right there, and he gets more of ice time as a result of that. Urov, too, I would look at for Minnesota. And I think there's one more for the Islanders, too. Oh, yeah, Heineman. Yeah, Heineman with Barzal and Lee. All right, next up, we've got L.A., Edmonton, Oilers -170, home favorite, 6 the total. 7-0 to the over for the Kings of all teams. 7-0 to the over run for them in their last 7 games. And what have I said about Edmonton? Kind of like Ottawa, I am going to mechanically bet overs with the Edmonton Oilers, with their goaltending duo being Ingram and Pickard. I'm just going to do it. And I think they're going to be compelled to open up things offensively with those 2 goaltenders and score more goals. And Edmonton has responded with scoring 10 goals in their last 2 games combined. Going into this game against Nashville, they scored 6. I was on the over in that game. I was on over with Edmonton, Winnipeg. I think Alex had the over with the Oilers and Jets as well. That game went over the total 4-3. You've got the tired Kings team, a banged-up Kings team, a shorthanded Kings team on a back-to-back. And Darcy Kemper, Anton Forsberg, rather, will be in net because they played Kemper last night. So you're probably going to get Anton Forsberg here tonight on the back-to-back for the LA Kings. It's probably going to be, it is Ingram. Connor Ingram confirmed as Chris Knobloch continues to kind of go back and forth. Ingram and Pickard with his 2 goalies. But again, neither one to me is a guy that's going to completely shut the door. So I think LA can chip in some goals, and I think Edmonton will score against Forsberg and this Kings team. And don't look now, the LA Kings defensively, they have given up 4 goals or more, the LA Kings, in 5 of their last 6 games. So they're not shutting the door right now. The LA Kings. I'm actually tempted here by team total over 3.5 on Edmonton at around even money, but I like this over 6 most of all. Okay. Oh, you know what? Kemper tonight, says Jonathan. Okay, let me just, see, the sites still have Forsberg expected, but Jonathan seems to think Kemper because they pulled Kemper. Forsberg played the 3rd period. They might throw Kemper back in tonight. Either way, I still like this over. I do. Kemper, it's not like Kemper's had a great track record against the Oilers. He was the guy in net for that epic collapse in the first round of the playoffs last year against the Edmonton Oilers. So, and by the way, all 3 playoff games in that first round playoff series in Edmonton between the Kings and Oilers last year, they all went over the total, by the way. That's something to make note of as well. So over 6, and I might sprinkle on an Oiler team total over 3.5 here as well. Alex, what do you think? Kings Oilers.
This is one where I'll wait for live to try and get a over 5.5. Just I know I'm seeing 6.5s popping up too. So this is one, like I said, I want to see where the pace of play goes. It wouldn't shock me, like I said at the beginning of this show, if LA wins this game. They shouldn't win this game. Edmonton's the better team, in my opinion. But it would not shock me one bit off of a bad loss if this ends up being kind of a back and forth battle and LA gets the victory. So I'm staying off the side here. Just like I said, going to target that total, try and get a better price and number in game.
All right, prop-wise for this game, I do like the Fogue Daddy. Yes, I do, definitely. Warren Fogle for L.A. In this game against his old team back in Edmonton. Now, he's obviously played in Edmonton as a member of the Kings many times already, but you're still always amped up when you go back and play one of your old teams. So I'm interested definitely in Fogle as far as a prop is concerned in this game. What else? I'm going to go back to Kapanen again. Didn't score last game, but if Kapanen remains in the top 6 forward group for the Edmonton Oilers, I still do think there's some good value with him, with Podkolzin and Draisaitl. So definitely looking in that direction. The LA forward group, it looks like Ward with Byfield and Fogle. They have, I don't know if I can bet Jeff Malot's not exactly a goal scorer. He's got 3 on the year, but apparently Jeff Malott, and last night he was with Kempe and Laferriere. So that tells you because of these absences, still no Armia, Moore, Perry, Kopitar, they're all out. They didn't even travel apparently with this team, with this Kings team on this trip. The lines are jumbled here for Jim Hiller, but Malott is up the lineup, way up the lineup, and there is value. It's just a matter of whether he can hit pay dirt or not. that ends up being the question here. All right, last game for this Saturday slate: St. Louis Blues, Vegas Golden Knights. Vegas minus 170 home favorites, 5.5 the total, 6 in some spots. I still think Vegas is overpriced, but do I want the Blues on a back-to-back after being in Utah last night? Probably not, and probably Binnington too in net, because we saw Joel Hofer last night in the game against the Utah Mammoth, and he turned back the clock for one game, Binnington, against Montreal, and shut out the Canadiens. But other than that, he went right back into the Binnington we've seen much of this season, struggling, lit up by Chicago, 7-3 in his last game. So, yeah, I'm with Jonathan here. It's over 5.5 for me. I think it's going to be Akira Schmid for the Vegas Golden Knights as well, because Carter Hart got dinged up at the end of the Columbus game the other night. Carter Hart's day-to-day lower body injury that he sustained against Columbus, day-to-day may not play. He couldn't put any weight on his left leg during that Columbus game. Akira Schmid had to finish the game. You got to think Schmid's back in net here tonight for the Golden Knights in this game. And it is worth noting that he actually did okay, gave up 2 goals in relief of Hart on against Columbus. Before that, it was 3 goals allowed against Chicago, 4 allowed against Nashville. So it's not like he's been playing great since the recent starts he's gotten. He gave up 5 goals in a loss to Calgary on December 20th. So Akira Schmid has definitely been giving up some goals lately. Over 5.5. I expect it'll be Binnington. Schmid for the Golden Knights. You're telling me these two teams can't combine for 6 goals with those 2 guys in net? I think it's very possible. So, over 5.5 here for me with Blues and Golden Knights. Alex, last game, St. Louis, Vegas.
Not only am I on the over by factor here, but shout out to Addison who messaged in the chat. High marks for both of these teams with a goal in first 5 minutes. You can get that at FanDuel plus 164. I'm liking that quite a bit. But got the over 1.5 minus 120 at Caesars. Just get that 5.5. And then, like I said, first goal in first 5 minutes plus 164.
All right, good stuff indeed. All right, like I said, for goal props here, when it comes to the Blues and the Golden Knights, we've got Mark Stone with 6 straight games with a goal for the Vegas Golden Knights. Now, again, the price with him is not great. It's certainly not bargain bin worthy, but plus 160 is what we're getting. 6 straight games with a goal. Riley Smith and Brett Howden for Vegas have scored goals in back-to-back games for them. So if you're going to ride the hot hand, those are a couple of options for you. For St. Louis, rather, I would look maybe at Otto Stenberg, Berggren, Dvorsky. Those 3 guys together have actually given them some of their better offensive performances lately. So might be looking in that direction as well for the St. Louis Blues here in this one. All right, we've gotten through this massive 14-game card. Thank you to everyone for joining us on this Saturday. I'm seeing over 600 live viewers in the watching live right now. So
That's
appreciate
awesome.
that.
Thank you.
Very much. Yeah. It's awesome to see at the like button that Theodore's still out. No change there. Someone was asking. Braden McNabb, it looks like, still out as well for the Vegas Golden Knights. Oh, I want to mention one thing as well. Jacob Slavin, he was supposed to return against Anaheim, but they decided we're going to be cautious. We're not going to bring him back just yet. We'll give him another night off before we bring him back and before he makes his return. But he is back tonight. He finally will make his return for the Carolina Hurricanes. So Jacob Slavin is in the lineup here tonight for the Carolina Hurricanes against Seattle, which definitely is big boost for them on the back end defensively, no doubt. All right, good stuff. Yeah, Brandon saw the former team angle. He loves scoring against his former teams. Did it against Chicago. Maybe he'll do it tonight against St. Louis. So there you go. Maybe you look at a Brandon Saad for the Vegas Golden Knights here tonight in this game. All right, shout out again to everyone in the chat. Hit the like button. We appreciate it very much. Check out wizardsportspicks.com. It's obviously a great time of year. We got NFL Wildcard Weekend. It's been an amazing NFL season, 62% ranked #1 at wizardsportspicks.com in the NFL this season. It's been a great season, profitable seasons year to date in that sport, NFL, as well as NHL and college basketball and NBA. So make sure you check it out, wizardsportspicks.com, Beyond the Lines video series each and every day. And now we have long-term subscription offerings as well. All access passes, 3-day, 7-day, 30-day, and 1-year subscriptions available. So make sure you get on board, wizardsportspicks.com. And check out patreon.com/Ice Guys, just $10 per month. Goalie charts, totals charts, daily betting cards, sides, totals, player props posted each and every day on the Patreon page. So make sure you get on board. Just $10 per month. And again, your membership goes a long way to supporting the show and keeping it going long term. So get on board, just $10 per month, patreon.com/Ice Guys.
And also check out the Ice Guys store, iceguys.myspreadshop.com. We've got hoodies, we've got jackets, we've got winter hat, baseball caps, mugs, cups, you name it. Everything right now at the Ice Guys store with our great designs and logos. So check that one out right now today. That's at iceguys.myspreadshop.com.
So I wasn't sold on this being a high-scoring game, Rangers and Bruins, but it's now 2-1 Boston, and we're still, halfway through the first period. So already 3 goals there. Let's hope that's a sign of things to come for. Let me see my my bets list here. Hopefully that's a sign of things to come for Dallas, San Jose, Columbus, Colorado, Tampa, Philly, Anaheim, Buffalo, Florida, Ottawa, LA, Edmonton, St. Louis, Vegas, because I've got a piece of the over in all of those games. So hopefully that's a sign for all of those later today. All right, great stuff. Best bets, bargain bin special of the night coming up right after we hear from our great Ice Guy sponsors.
Wizard Sports Picks, featuring the finest handicappers in the universe. Sharp insights, trusted picks, and relentless results. We strive to help you become consistent winners. This is Wizard Sports Picks.
Kings and Queens shop.
Thanks to all our sponsors, including Royal Cannabis. Check them out, royalcannabisshop.com, 20% off with promo code Ice Guys. Lauderdale Owens, obviously Panthers fan, is Matthew Tkachuk playing tonight against his brother Brady. He's on the trip. His return is imminent. I thought tonight could be the night, but it doesn't look like it. Looks like he's out. They're going to keep him out at least one more game. Although never say never. Maybe Matthew Tkachuk will lobby hard that, hey, my brother's playing on the other side. I want to return. But at the moment, I would lean with no. He's not playing tonight for the Florida Panthers. All right, bargain bin special of the night. Obviously, Lawson Krause, Utah, for me last night with another bargain bin special winner. We'll see if we can deliver another today for this loaded Saturday slate. Alex, we'll start with you. Bargain bin special of the night.
We'll go to that Florida-Ottawa game, and one of the guys who has filled in nicely, playing in a depth role in the absence of the aforementioned Matthew Tkachuk, is AJ Greer. Up on that second line, we're going to take a shot with him. Anytime goal scorer, you can get as high as plus 550 at FanDuel, the best price available. That's my first bargain bin special. My second bargain bin special, you'll have to find it at patreon.com/iceguys. I'll have that posted later on.
All right, good stuff indeed as far as the bargain bin special. All right, I got two. First one is Alexander Texier for the Montreal Canadiens. I mean, I said at the moment I saw him move up to the top line, and he has produced there. He is worth a look. Plus 360. BetMGM is the best price. Alexander Texier, for the Montreal Canadiens. I will go with that for my first of the two bargain bin specials of the night. Second bargain bin special of the night here for this slate. Let me just see here what it was here. Oh, yeah. Even though I'm on the Islanders here, I'm rolling with Ryan Hartman because I think he's going to get elevated minutes. There's a real chance Eriksson Ek doesn't go tonight for the Minnesota Wild. And if that's the case, Ryan Hartman's going to get even more opportunity. Power play, more opportunity as well. And he has scored in 2 straight games for the Minnesota Wild as well, entering tonight plus 375 for Ryan Hartman. So there you go. Alex Tessier, Montreal, plus 360. And Ryan Hartman for Minnesota, plus 375 for my 2 bargain bin specials for this Saturday. All right, best bets. Alex, what do you like here for best bet?
Yeah, I think it could get ugly down in Music City tonight with the Hawks flying in sick. Nashville's been playing well, and they always get up for the Hawks. Give me the alternate team total over 1.5 plus 215 with Nashville as my Saturday best bet.
Best bet. I was going to go with it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Mechanical over teams. I was either going to go San Jose or Anaheim. I'll go with Anaheim since it's the evening game, the later game, and 9-1 to the over. 7 straight overs for Anaheim. So Anaheim Buffalo over 6.5 minus 130 for my best bet here for this Saturday. Great show. Amazing card. Hopefully we get some winners and have a profitable day. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Hit the like button on the way out. Oh, and a reminder, of course, that Tuesday, January 20th, it's right around the corner. It's 10 days away. That is our free-for-all, open to the public, live betcast for the month of January, Tuesday night to January 20th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. So make sure you join us for that. And, of course, looking forward to our first of many betcasts. We're going to have the 2 Patreon-exclusive live betcasts as well in the month of January. They'll be later in the month, but we will have 2 of them. So make sure you get ready for that as well. Another reason to sign up at patreon.com/iceguys. And yes, I'd be remiss if we didn't, before we sign off, if I didn't mention to Alex, good luck to his Chicago Bears here tonight against the Green Bay Packers. Yeah. The weather's going to be nasty. It looks like wind and cold and maybe snow showers and crosswinds across the stadium. So better run the football effectively, bottom line. If you're going to win this game tonight. But I know you're excited. And Packers, Bears in the NFL playoffs, I mean, it doesn't get much better than that.
I mean, it's fantastic. Saturday night, Soldier Field, Bears, Packers, wild card weekend, snow and wind. And it's everything you hear about growing up over the years, the history of that rivalry. And now to see it unfold in a playoff game, it's going to be fantastic. So bear down and fuck Green Bay.
I'm on the Bears there. I'm on the Bears there, even though they're the inexperienced team, because I think they can run block better than Green Bay can right now. Green Bay's
Manunga.
Manunga
could have a major
Jenkins going to play for Green Bay on the O-line. Plus, they're without Parsons. They're 0-4 without Parsons, and now Devontae Wyatt out. And look what they did against what they allowed against Henry for Baltimore a couple weeks ago. Yeah, I'm worried about that.
And let's not forget, it was the same cold, hard ground of Soldier Field where Jordan Love suffered that concussion. Yeah, you take a hit here, and now you're talking about Clayton Tune playing in this kind of weather. Okay,
it's not like Matt LaFleur hasn't had an early playoff exit either the last few years. He's the king of them lately. Philly last year, fucking San Francisco with Rodgers a few years ago, the friggin' block punt. They couldn't get anything done on offense. Remember that loss early in the playoffs when they were expected to win? Matt LaFleur's had some early exits here the last few years. Yeah,
John Harbaugh might be buying some warmer clothes potentially.
That's true. There's a lot of good coaching candidates out there right now, no doubt. But like I said, it's definitely I don't trust Green Bay's injury situation right now. And then the other games, I'll throw them out quickly. I think the best over, and I love my overs, is Buffalo-Jacksonville. I think there's just a lot of points in that game. And I think a sneaky over is Monday night. I think that total's just a little bit too low with Houston-Pittsburgh. Because Houston, all of a sudden, Raiders are moving it on them. Riley Leonard, who's never played in the NFL, is moving the ball against them last week. And Pittsburgh's defense, you block T.J. Watt, you block Cam Hayward, and the rest of that defense stinks. I think so for Pittsburgh. You take care of those 2 guys, you can move the football on them. And I like the Chargers, too, plus 3.5. I don't know if they win, but give me 3.5, 4 with the Chargers.
Not so fast, my friend, on that one. There's always one blowout in wild card weekend, and I feel like that could be the game where the Patriots just go off. I think Drake May's legit. I think he has a big coming out party in this playoff game.
He's great.
I like Patriots.
He's great. He's
Yeah.
great. And Vrabel's done a great job. Vrabel's also kind of the king of an early exit, too. All those years with Tennessee, he got them into the playoffs, and they got bounced early in a lot of them. So, like I said, very interesting to see how that plays out. But a great football weekend. Looking forward to that as well, no doubt. All right, a reminder, the Ice Guys is live 7 days a week, Monday to Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern, Saturday, Sunday, noon Eastern. If you can't watch the show live, download the Ice Guys podcast in audio form on all major podcast platforms, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and more. Download the Ice Guys podcast when you can't watch the show live. For Alex B. Smith, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Saturday. Enjoy the games and good luck. And we will be back tomorrow on Sunday, noon Eastern, for another edition of the Ice Guys.